Celtics fans are loving this, as NBA superstar Damian Lillard speaks out saying that he thought the Milwaukee Bucks would be in the same situation that the Boston Celtics are in now, proving that the Boston Celtics are a dominant powerhouse in this Eastern Conference. We'll also be diving in, looking at newly acquired teammate Xavier Tillman speaking out on the Gilbert Arenas show, speaking highly of teammates and the city, and also two possible Celtics could be on the Olympic roster. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Without further ado, make sure to grab a snack as it is going to be a jam-packed episode, and we're going to dive in straight into the topics. The first one we're going to be looking at is two Celtics for the Olympic roster. We mentioned this a little bit yesterday in our video, kind of talking about how this was going to be exciting for the Celtics, as Jrue Holiday possibly could be on this Olympic roster, possibly working to an extension to sign with the Celtics. If you missed that video, check that out in yesterday's. But we can check out this tweet from Evan Sidery, what has a Team USA's likely roster for the 24 Olympics in Paris, tweeted by Sean Srani of The Athletic. There are 12 names listed here with one open roster spot remaining, and the two guys that we want to talk about are Jrue Holiday and Jayson Tatum, because both of those guys were on the last Olympic team in 2020 and helped dominate with that squad. So them being on this 2024 squad is going to do wonders for this team. It also is going to do great for the Celtics fans, as you have two players to root for on your team, to root for in the Olympics, which as again makes me feel happy. Likes to see Jrue Holiday get his respect as well. A nice, very two-way guard, known for his defensive side of the aspect of the ball. You don't really see that in the All-Star game. You don't really see that heavily prioritized, but for the Team USA Olympic roster, they know he has that grit and grind to help them win the championship and go for that gold, and I feel confident that he is going to do that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'm very excited to see two of our Celtics get back in there, and possibly maybe even a third in Jaylen Brown. We'll have to wait and see. But let's dive in on this next topic at hand, which is Xavier Tillman feeling comfortable with this Boston Celtics squad. And day by day, we just keep seeing more and more about Xavier Tillman, and it's making me feel more at ease and likely that this guy is going to be staying long-term with this Celtics squad. Now, yesterday, he was on the Gilbert Arenas show. We have a bunch of tweets here from a bunch of other people that got some great information talking about this, but he had a lot to say, and it is great. If we want to dive in, we'll look at this first tweet from Noah Dalzell, talking about Xavier Tillman, talking about his relationship with Al Horford, and saying how Al Horford has already been showing him how to take care of his body. Al's been really good at showing me all the meticulous stuff you need to do every day, from the lifting to the eating right, from the mobility stuff and stretching. And as a Celtics fan, this is fantastic, because personally, I think that Xavier Tillman could be the replacement and kind of fill that same role that Al Horford already has. Now, Al Horford, we know, is, a smaller center, but can play that power forward 4-5 mix matchup. He can stretch out to the three-point line. He can be a great defender as well. And Xavier Tillman showed some life with that shot in his rookie season. Shot pretty decent from three his rookie year, finished at the rim pretty well. Now, being in Memphis, not having the greatest offensive centers with Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson, it's hard to develop and learn your offensive game, especially with a lot of shot blockers and rim protectors in Memphis. But having guys like Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, showing you some offensive creation, I think this is going to do, like I said, wonders for Xavier Tillman. And I really, really think he can be that Al Horford replacement. As Al Horford keeps getting older, we kind of need to fill that power forward position, and I think Xavier Tillman's got the similar body type, similar play style, and if he can knock down those threes and learn his offensive game, I truly think he can develop into a stretch 4, stretch 5 guy for the Celtics, and he could be that filler for Al Horford once he gets a little bit older. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, but I love to see him and Al already having this great relationship. We've already broken it down before on this show, just talking about how they just are already gelling, and that as a fan makes me ecstatic. We also want to keep diving in. We can talk about how he says that I thought at first Jayson Tatum was just a scorer until I realized his defensive, passing, and rebounding ability. He definitely needs to be in the MVP discussion, not to mention we're number 1 in the league. And I don't blame Xavier Tillman on that. That's from Clutch Points. He is speaking facts. Jayson Tatum, even though some NBA fans and some Celtics fans know that he's not competing against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and all those guys, the media needs to stop blasting him on the fact that he didn't win 2 years ago, and that's what's hindering his MVP case. He's definitely top 5 in consideration for MVP, and even though he might be 4 or 5 in that consideration for that race, his name definitely deserves to be discussed, as he is leading the best team in the NBA, and Xavier Tillman has been ecstatic because this Celtics team has yet to lose with him. And this is fantastic as well, because you want to see your teammates actually encouraging their best player and having this hype up around Jayson Tatum. It's clear that Xavier Tillman's already gelled in with this locker room. He's already felt comfortable, and with the Celtics Celtics having his bird rights for next season as well. I think he is going to be a long-term staple for this Celtics squad. We got one more tweet talking about Xavier Tillman, and this one's from Noah Dalzell again, talking about the mindset differences between the Grizzlies and the Celtics, talking about how the Grizzlies were young and turnt, taking dances before the games, but the Boston players talk about clocking in, everyone doing your own thing, everybody keep it light, and then get the job done. I think that's kind of how Xavier Tillman wants to run in a role as well. He's talked about how he's part of that stay ready crew, those guys that are ready to go whenever their number is called. And like I've mentioned, we've only seen Xavier Tillman once versus the Chicago Bulls when he first came off the injury report. We have yet to see him. Maybe we'll see him in Friday's game versus the Dallas Mavericks, and I would really like to see him get some more run to see how effective he can be on the defensive side of the ball. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What do you guys think of Xavier Tillman? Because I'm personally very high on him, and I think he can be a key difference maker for this Celtics squad, and I think he is a true steal that Brad Stevens got. And the last topic that we're going to be diving in on today's episode is an NBA star speaking out on the Boston Celtics. And yes, Damian Lillard has voiced his frustrations and has said some wild things. We want to dive in and look at this. This is from Boston Sports Gordo. Now, Damian Lillard had an interview with Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated, and this is a little snippet, but then we'll dive in. Damian Lillard on this year's Bucks saying, "I thought we were going to be how Boston is right now." Now, if we want to look at this full quote, we can see from Chris Mannix that Damian Lillard on this year's Bucks, "I thought we were going to be how Boston is right now. I thought we were going to be like Boston is, but I think what we've learned is that some things take some time, especially that it has the reward in the end. You can't come into it and think that it's just going to be all peaches and cream. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our coaching change. I haven't completely settled into be finding who I am on this team, and that's kind of a tough thing." Now, obviously, the Celtics and Bucks did go through some major changes this offseason. Celtics bringing in Kristaps, Porzingis, and Jrue Holiday, with the Bucks also bringing in Damian Lillard. Luckily for the Boston Celtics, they were able to click right away and get that fluidity going, being atop of the Eastern Conference. They've been atop the East for most of the season. I believe a little bit of stretches in November. Philadelphia had the number 1 seed, but once Boston has taken it over, they have had full control of it ever since, and it has been a complete dominance from the Celtics. Now, obviously, like Damian Lillard mentioned, the Milwaukee Bucks did have some defensive struggles. They did have to go through a coaching change, but now that they've gone through that coaching change, they've started to kind of click back up and get ready to go. But as we all know, the Boston Celtics have maintained a fantastic lead, having 8-game lead in the Eastern Conference over the 2nd seed. And if you guys did not know, if the Boston Celtics lose every single game at this point, they have automatically clinched a play-in spot. Therefore, the Celtics are basically locked to finish in that number 1 seed, as the Cleveland Cavaliers are the only team statistically who can pass the Boston Celtics. And I am very, very ecstatic to say that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Damian Lillard speaking out about the Boston Celtics. This could be worrisome for the Bucks, but this is great news for the Boston Celtics, as we have them on a little bit of their heels. They're a little bit on their rocks now, and the Celtics are confident. They're a well-oiled machine, and they're ready to go to be competing for this championship. Like I mentioned, Jrue Holiday had some great things as well, making the Olympic team with Jayson Tatum, and Xavier Tillman speaking up about his new acquired squad has me having jitters. Celtics fans, you should be ecstatic with all of this news. And like I mentioned, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode here on Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.